Hi everyone, we are back with chapters 6 and 7 in Light of the Jedi. Now, chapter 6 is set on the Aurora 9, a Republic Longbeam. Aurora 9 is commanded by Captain Bright, a Nautolan, and he is from the world Glee Anselm, where he lived his life underwater. He has green skin, black orbs for eyes, and tentacles on his face. And later in the chapter, we find out Bright can use his tentacles to sense the pheromones of other living things, so he can sense emotions. It's an interesting ability because so far in the story, only Jedi can sense or feel people's emotions. And in chapter 5, Bell Zettifar with the Force sensed despair at the compound he and Master Loden went to. And the way the novel described Bell didn't really know the emotions of love, joy, despair, for example. The Jedi can experience these emotions because they're living beings, but the Jedi teach to not let your emotions lead you or lead your actions. So Bell is unfamiliar with these. He only knew them to the point of sensing them in others. It's nice to see Charles Soule lay out this contrast of the beings who know emotions, experience and harness them, and those who are more unfamiliar with emotions like the Jedi. The Aurora 9 is near a solar array in the Hetzel system. It harvests the energy of the 3 suns in the system and feeds the sunlight back to the crop-growing worlds. It is about to get destroyed by one of those light-speed objects coming at it, so it's important to where Bright orders his crew, Petty Officer Inaman and Ensign Peoples, to fire the Aurora's full 6-missile weapons payload at the object to save the array. All of the missiles miss, and the object hits and destroys a part of the array, but there's a spherical part where the crew on the solar array would be, and that's still intact. So Captain Bright acts on his morals and know that they have to try and save any survivors, and the chapter ends with Bright deciding to do just that. Chapter 7. So this is the third scene we're following with the relief effort. We followed Bell and Master Loden in chapter 5, Captain Bright in chapter 6, and now we're introduced to a whole new scene with a set of 3 Jedi Knights and a furry Padawan. So Jedi Knights Te-Ami, Mikkel Sutmani, an Ithorian, and Nib Asek, who has a Wookiee Padawan Buryaga, are in a squadron of Jedi Vectors, and they are accompanied by a Republic Longbeam piloted by Joss Adrin and his wife Pika. And these two are a little mysterious and personally are shady to me. They haven't done anything shady, and they volunteered to help in the relief, so I guess they're all right. But they're described as being contractors on the Starlight Beacon, and they finished their job and were pretty much hitchhiking their way back to Coruscant on the Third Horizon when the catastrophe broke out in Hetzel. The whole group is above the fruited moon and are responding to the object that's on its way to hit the surface. So they have a plan to blast the object with all of their weaponry, and Te-Ami is the leader of the squadron and uses the Force to connect to Mikkel and Nib, and she also senses Buryaga. She mistakes his fear and panic, and it turns out Buryaga, through the Force, was actually sensing fear and panic within the object. The object was identified as debris from a ship, aka the Legacy run from chapter 1. Buryaga was described as being silent, and he only speaks Wookiee, so it's hard to understand him. But the fact that he detected that there were people in the ship fragment, and that the other Jedi Knights didn't notice, it makes me think Buryaga is a very powerful Padawan, or at least has a deep connection to the Force. Anyways, the important thing is the group realizes that there are people in the ship fragment, so their plan to blast it goes away because they want to save the people inside. This is how chapter 7 ends, but I have a few more words. The chapters in the book are marked with time to impact. The time in chapter 1 is labeled 3 hours until impact, and in chapter 7 it is 70 minutes. So this is the chapter where we realize what these fragments are. They are part of the Legacy Run. Captain Hedda in Chapter 1 activated the bulkhead shields, which would protect the cargo compartments, from the heat of traveling at light speed, because the Legacy Run was traveling near light speed in the hyperlanes. The Legacy Run was also modular, so pieces of it could split, and it makes sense that there are, surviving ship debris that are holding people. And that ship debris continues to travel near light speed because it's, traveling in space and nothing's, it's not hitting anything. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more Light of the Jedi.